got Alex Plank with us here. And Alex Plank, as I said, he's one of our favorite guests. He's an amazing young filmmaker, an actor. You guys saw him on The Good Doctor. He was the creator of wrongplanet.net when he was just 17 years old. He's a creative genius, and I consider him a friend. And I already said, Alex, I know you can hear me now, that Alex loves to devil me and correct me and tell me when I get something wrong. And it is our relationship and our friendship. So let's see what I'm doing wrong today. Alex, are you there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, we
hear
can.
You and we can see you.
There, Alex. Well,
fantastic. Thanks for having me. Yeah, no, I saw that you were covering all these news stories, and I don't know which one you want to start on first. I don't know why you didn't just have me come on and when you were talking about them, if we're going to just talk about each news story or whatever.
We're not going to talk about all of them.
Oh, okay.
I just wanted your opinion about the QAnon shaman, and that his lawyer is saying that the reason why this all happened is because he's on the autism spectrum. I want to hear from you about. And did you see what the words the lawyer used to describe the people who took came into the White House on the 6th? It's pretty incendiary.
I'm gonna have to say that I think that anytime that you're in that big of trouble, your lawyer is going to do whatever they can and just try to throw every excuse in the book. Obviously, we've heard of like the Twinkie defense. I mean, I don't think we should really take anything from it. I disagree that it sets things back because I didn't notice that you said that. I disagree it sets things back because people sort of expect that you're going to use any excuse in the book. Elon Musk is not just announced that he was on the spectrum. He's not going to like if he gets in trouble with some sort of thing, he's not. Yeah, I mean maybe he'll throw that out too. But it's like there's plenty. Obviously, it doesn't have anything to do with knowing right from wrong. So I mean, it doesn't really make sense. I mean, unless there was like a very specific thing where someone was coerced and tricked into doing something. But this guy was apparently like one of like the big guys in the movement, and he was going to all the events. He counter protested at all the Black Lives Matter rallies to the point where like people were thinking, oh well, he must be like one of their excuses was that he's at a Black Lives Matter rally. He's really like he's on the other side. He's like an operative, like, pretending to be like, yeah, which, what they didn't include was him holding a sign, promoting their whatever their crazy cause is.
So, well, I'm sort of relieved to hear that you're not worried that this is going to set the community back. I'm relieved to hear that.
Yeah, I think your point about Elon Musk. I mean, just as we can't say that all people with autism are crazy like the shaman, we can't say that all people with autism are geniuses like Elon Musk. You've met one person with autism, you've met one person.
Right, and we've got Bill Gates. People. He seems like he might be on the spectrum. Doesn't forgive him for cheating on his wife or doing whatever he was doing that caused her to do that. So
well, I love your opinion on it, Alex. So we have not had you, correct me if I'm wrong, we've not had you on during the pandemic.
I don't know. I don't think so. Maybe once.
Maybe once. So for people who don't know, how have you been doing through the pandemic? Was this like, what were the challenges for you? Let's put it that way.
I think a lot of the challenges now is it's sort of everything's getting back to, things are kind of getting back to normal, but not really. It's sort of like I feel like I should be feeling better about it, but like it's kind of like, I don't know. I have no urge to go do as many things. You know what I mean? When I used to like, oh yeah, of course I'll come meet up for, whatever, go on a walk or get drinks or do anything. I just sort of feel like, like I lack the momentum to keep going. I kind of, and I this part of the pandemic, I guess is sort of, a little more like annoying because it's like, there's not like a clear, I mean, you would think that everything would be open, and they're saying, oh, well, you can stop wearing masks before you can go, before I can do anything. It's like, well, who cares about wearing a mask? I don't, one way or the other. Like, I just want to go do things that are fun. And, yeah, they've opened up a lot more, but it's like really slow. And it's like, I was kind of thinking it would be a lot faster because it seemed like it was starting to change really fast in like January and February when I got vaccinated. But then after that, like it's sort of like, it seems like people, I don't know, it's bizarre. I mean, I guess maybe in June, everything will just open up and it'll be back to normal. But I also feel like, people are just like, I think a lot of things are going to stay online. I think like maybe, going to see a doctor in certain circumstances. And I think there's a lot of good things that came out of it. Obviously it's a great tragedy with, so many people dying. But like all this, the shift to like, it used to be like, oh, we can't see over the internet. You know what I mean? Like when it's like, why do you need to go to the doctor when they're just going to like, ask you a few questions and you have to like drive there or walk there if you're close enough, if you're, you know what I mean? Like, so I think that kind of like is nice. That kind of stuff is sticking. I think also a lot of things that sort of changed is that we've seen that sort of people are a little more aware that maybe they need to be more active in making sure the government has their best interests at heart. A lot of people sort of felt like they have been paying taxes their entire life, and then they lose everything because of the pandemic, and they come in saying they're going to give a few checks, they get one, and then like they sort of are hung out to dry, and they're like, oh yeah, sorry, we changed our mind, we're not going to give you that other check we said was coming. And it's like, they're expecting people to live off that for over a year.
And I know that you are an amazing advocate for and a voice for the autism community, especially in so many ways, but in particular in the healthcare arena. That it was just a couple of years ago that you helped lead with a group of people a special conference about healthcare for individuals on the spectrum, and a portion of that was making sure that research that is done is mindful of what people on the spectrum would like for it to be, and that they be involved in all levels of it.
So I'm patient-centered, centered research, because we get a research, and research is generally, a researcher decides, oh, this seems like something interesting to research, and like, okay, but like, how is that going to help anyone? Is it going to help anyone at all, even? And is it the best way to use the research funding that you can get? So, there's a shift sort of in sort of moving towards participatory research, which I think is really important, and especially for autism, where we generally have like a lot of, and there are plenty of people on the spectrum that can be successful, that are sort of have this, their parents sort of just get told these things, and a lot of parents either, there's two approaches. They either sort of deny that the kid has autism. Well, there's three. They deny the kid has autism. They take it to heart and like think this kid's never going to do anything in their life, and they're going to need support, too much, way more support than in reality they probably will need. Or also like, and then third, they sort of feel like they need to protect them too much, you know what I mean? So like you end up with an adult that's like, still living at home. And I don't know, I mean, I certainly could see, other people that should be more independent, not really being encouraged to do that. And I think part of it is because there is a lack of support for adults. And also, to get back on what you were saying with healthcare, I think, people on the spectrum sort of have this issue with executive. They don't like a lot of the issues with healthcare. So going to the doctor's office and waiting in the waiting room might be an issue. A lot of different various things. So I would say that's sort of my thought on that,
But I'm wondering, as we are approaching we're in this wonky, as you were saying, period where we're transitioning from being, especially here in Los Angeles, because I think things have opened up a lot more in other places than here in Los Angeles. And we're June 15th, supposedly the state of California is opening, but I don't know that LA is opening.
I'm talking more about like things like, I mean, it does it's not even in the places where it's open more. You're not having. I don't think. You're not going to like a Katy Perry concert. You know what I mean?
Right. Right. Everything is, we're in this transition period. But so my question to you is, while we're in this transition period, I want to know from you, what do you think needs to be done to help, especially our teens and adults on the spectrum, to get through this transition period? Is it something in healthcare? Is it something, what would be helpful to that population?
I mean, there's so much to sort of say. I think that, part of the issue is that, maybe I don't really know what kind of help you could provide other than, just sort of being there and listening to what the person needs, because everyone's different. Some people may have issues with certain things. Some people may be, really excited to get back to things. Some people may have trouble making that transition back again. Maybe they had transition making it to the pandemic. Now they're going to have a transition making it back to normal.
Yeah.
So,
well, let me ask this question in a different way, because you're right, it's different for different people. But what do you think has been the most helpful thing to you in this particular transition? While we're not fully open yet, but we're not fully closed yet, what's been the most helpful to you? Has anything been helpful?
Well, I don't really know. I mean, I think that
I'm going to be honest. Watching Netflix is what gets me through the day. I'm just keeping it real.
I'm with
Netflix.
you.
Netflix is
Are there coping mechanisms, Alex, that you could recommend for those out there that might
coping mechanisms? Sure. I mean, I think going on hikes, going on walks. I think a lot of times people on the spectrum will really benefit from going on long walks and just sort of being like alone, like in like either in like the middle of the city or off in the middle of nowhere, because both of those two are sort of, different environments and, might like one or the other. Exercise is important, eating healthy. I think that, a lot of people are maybe eating too much or not eating enough, or just, their health is not at the forefront during this, or at least their physical health is not sort of prioritized during this pandemic. A lot of people I see running, but, I think that people on the spectrum really benefit from having structure. So maybe trying to do something like that, or having more of a schedule in your life, trying to like go to a certain thing every week, doing anything, going to therapy, having just a place you go,
I love that it's been a tale of two cities during the pandemic, that some people, I have some friends who are like, oh, I just let it all go and I've been eating whatever I want. And, but then on the other side of it, there are a bunch of us who said, okay, this is my chance to try to get it together. And, we put a treadmill in the middle of our living room. So while we're doing Netflix, we're on the treadmill, and I'm happy to report I'm in the 40-pound club. I've lost 40 pounds, and my husband has lost 50 pounds. And if you put them together, it's like a third grader. We've lost like a third grader.
Well, that's fantastic.
In the pandemic. So, okay, Alex, a lot of times when people are asking me, what can we do for teens and adults? I'm sure you know where I send them. I say, go take a look at wrongplanet.net.
Yeah.
So tell people
check
if
out
they
my
don't.
website. It's an online community for autism. We have a lot of members who've got discussion forums, and just a place that people can go and ask and talk to other people, and read articles that are posted and just see see a lot of stuff. So I think it's really important to check that out. I also think that that's one of the things. Like I think maybe part of the reason that maybe the autistic people may be coping better in the pandemic is that we've sort of been isolated maybe in the past before we got more social, or maybe we just always been sort of a little seeking our social outlet online. So I think a lot of people on the spectrum might have felt like that they were feeling like it was actually maybe they were more normal now. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
It's funny though, because what?
Alex, have you seen an increase? Have you seen an increase in traffic to Wrong Planet since the pandemic?
Honestly, I'm not entirely sure, because most of the traffic fluctuations that we get are the result of just very factors outside of the actual core community because, we get so many people that just, search on Google for something and find one page and maybe they'll join or maybe they won't. We get a lot of traffic that way. So I think, I don't know if I've seen much of a fluctuation. I would have to check. I haven't really monitored the traffic during the pandemic or tried to see any sort of effects of it. But, generally we do see more traffic when people have more time at home. So I'm sure there's probably more. But I would also say that I think it's kind of funny because, at this, I was wearing the mask, before anyone else. I don't know if you remember, I was wearing one back in February of 2020.
I do remember.
And
a
I was
hardcore one, like a serious business mask.
Oh, well, that one, yeah, but also just an N95. That one was like a 100 rating, so it filters out close to 100% of particles instead of 95%. But and people were weird. And now I'm not wearing one anymore because I've been vaccinated. It's I'm outside and we now know that it's there's very little risk. And I see people that are acting that are running across the street to try to avoid me when they're jogging with a mask on. And I'm you realize that the time to wear it has passed. You know what I mean? If well, you should have been wearing it when it was bad. You can do it if you want. I just feel it's you have it's just kind of funny to me because
I think we all have different opinions about this, but can I just say that part of the confusion in Los Angeles, and somebody explained this to me the other day, is that even though the CDC has said that you can take your mask off in public, in Los Angeles there is still a mandate. We are supposed to still wear masks when we are inside, regardless of whether you're vaccinated or not, which I didn't know the other day. And it wasn't until
right, but I was talking about outdoors, where
yes.
and they changed it before the CDC even said that. They changed the mandate. They removed the outdoor thing in April.
But it wasn't
mid-April.
Until Sunday, for the first time on Sunday, I heard the head of the CDC say that they have learned in the last 3 weeks that supposedly, if you are vaccinated, you can no longer transmit it to other people, mask on, mask off. And that's the first time that they said that.
The CDC, here's the thing with the CDC, they wait a few months. So they're always sort of late. So I'm very in tune with the research, and I follow a lot of epidemiologists on Twitter. And so I know, sort of what the leading research is and as the studies come out. And the CDC generally takes a month or two to update their guidance. They took a month or two to update their guidance about masks in the beginning, where they should have said that you should, but we all knew you should be wearing them from the very start. Yes. And then yet people were still sort of saying, oh, they don't work. And it's
right.
Well, why would they have them? And why would doctors have been wearing them for
right.
Forever?
Right.
You know what I mean? It's kind of
I do.
And yet and it's and how could they work for doctors and not people? Oh, well, the doctors know how to use them. You don't. And it's it's a mask. It's not like a fighter jet. You don't use them for yes, obviously you want to make sure it's properly melded to your nose. The straps are tight enough and there's no leaks. But
now I want one that has a fighter jet on
yeah.
it.
But
I'm going to be one of those people who's going to be wearing a mask for a long time.
I like wearing it. I was wearing it the other day because there was a wildfire. So you know what I mean? It helps with the breathing sometimes with allergies. And that's why I have them. My doctor had given them to me for fire. I don't see a problem in wearing them. I just,
I think it's different things for different people, different comfort levels.
I probably will sometimes wear them during certain seasons. Maybe I might, if I go to the grocery store or a crowded place during flu season, maybe I'll wear one. I don't know, probably.
Right.
We'll see.
Well, Alex,
I've so enjoyed not having a cold this year.
Yeah.
It's been
that's what I was thinking.
Now that we're coming out of this pandemic, tell us about some of the things you've got in the works, projects and things you're working on.
I can't talk about any of that. I have a lot of different things that are exciting and related to TV and film, but I can't talk about anything specifically because it's nothing is well, it's not.
You could
that,
tell us, but then you would have to kill us all.
Well, it's or just sort of I don't like to talk about things because you don't want to mention when you have multiple things, not everything happens. You have, there's so many steps and, big people involved and a few, money and just schedule. It's just, you can't ever be sure that you're doing something until you're doing it. I feel like, at least in television and film. And then I have another thing that's also sort of exciting too, but I can't talk about. So,
Okay.
but I will say that I'm very excited for, I've got Max, my dog. We're going to be going places and doing things. He's
And
been
is
very
Max
helpful.
around? Can we say hi to Max?
He's sleeping.
Okay, don't wake him up. We don't. You know what they say about let sleeping dogs lie.
Max
But
is for those that don't know, Max is your assistant's dog. And how long have you had him, Alex?
It's over. I guess I got him in 2019. Wait, 2019? September, the beginning of September. Yeah, the beginning of September 2019.
Yeah, I remember being at Ed Asner's birthday party, and you had Max there that fall.
Yeah, right where he got to walk on the red carpet. They took those cool pictures with the hips standing there and like on the red carpet. That was fun, and that was crowded.
It was very crowded, and he was very well behaved. And there was a lady there, as I recall, it was at the Roosevelt Hotel, and there was a lady who had two yappy dogs that she did not.
I was like, they were like, is this like a stroller thing, or like was that? Right?
It was some crazy thing. And she was telling people that they were assistance dogs and they weren't behaving. And Max was being very well behaved, but the dogs were sort of trying to get at Max, and it was a little stressful. But Max was very well behaved. I was
stressed by it more than he was. He probably just,
I was talking about my stress level. I was watching it. I was like, this is not right. Somebody needs to get this woman in hand.
I will say that he is a German Shepherd, and they were tiny, and that if they did try to attack him or something, he probably would just sort of not notice it or something.
But has he gotten a lot bigger? Because I haven't seen him in a year and a half. But is he a big German Shepherd now?
I think he's like 60. He's not a big one.
Right. No, because he wasn't then, and he was beautiful.
But he was like 50. He was 50 maybe pounds before. So
but you know how sometimes 10. Those ginormous German Shepherds are like small horses. They intimidate me. But Max does not intimidate me.
He intimidates a lot of people, but not everyone.
So tell the people at home what do you use Max for? How does Max assist you?
I have him that he alerts me if I start to get like stressed. He listens to the changes in my breathing. He also does what's called deep pressure therapy, but all that means is he just lies on top of me like a weighted blanket. So I don't really. I mean, some people could like. I don't know how, much that is special. I feel like the other one's more like impressive of a thing because like telling.
But does that help you when he lays on you? Does it help?
Yeah, I mean it's like having deep pressure does help, but I think it's being notified when you're like getting stressed before you notice it yourself is more helpful.
That's
because it also helps you.
To do that.
Yeah. But it's funny because sometimes I think he's messing up, and I'm usually wrong because I don't think I'm ever right when I think he's messing up or doing it. I mean, unless I'm holding a piece of like steak or something, and then he might think that I'm doing it. Think I'm stressed.
There are times when he alerts you. So are you saying there's times when he alerts you and says, "Hey, Alex, you're starting to get stressed"?
Yeah, because it's like I'm not thinking about I'm not like constantly monitoring. That's just like one thing that he's focused on. Do you know what I mean? Like his main thing that he's focused on is like whether I'm getting stressed or not. So if I'm getting stressed and like to a point where it's getting like kind of like I might have a meltdown or something. He would notice before I do sometimes. Sometimes I notice before him, or I notice he's on the other side of the room and I notice before he gets to me or something. But you know what I mean? Like I turn my head and he's on his way over already. Like, you know what I mean? I'm like, hey, why didn't he, do it? But that's just because that's also, what I found is that I've also then been able to start recognizing it more frequently myself because he does it so often. So it's actually been sort of teaching me about myself, and also like it's weird because it's like knowing when you start to get stressed can kind of be really helpful in trying to minimize it. in the future. So it sort of teaches me about myself in ways, and it's like, oh, I do get stressed by that. I never thought about that. That's why, so sometimes, and it's not just stress, it's like more intense than that, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's wonderful.
You're somebody who travels a lot and goes places and you speak, and we should let people know that you are available to speak if somebody wants to
Yeah,
book
I
you.
am available to speak. I do the speaking gigs. I just got Max new goggles. Did you see the picture on my
No,
Facebook?
no.
Is there a way to put it on the screen?
We'll see if Traven can find it on Facebook. I don't know
Yeah,
if we've
might
got
be too
enough
hard to
time.
find.
I
on
just
right
posted
now.
on my Facebook.
All right, we'll
Alex
send
Plank.
Traven to Facebook and see if he can find it, but we've only got like 4 minutes.
Does he
got
have his own-
goggles on. What?
Does Max have his own Instagram account?
No, because like he doesn't use the phone. So
Well, oh, look at him.
Oh,
That is so cute. I absolutely love it. But he should
Yeah.
have his own Instagram.
I post pictures on mine of I don't think he needs his own.
Okay.
I don't like. I mean, I guess maybe. I also feel like it's just like then it's like you have two. It's like I hardly go on Instagram as it is. I'm not.
Alex, are you afraid that Max will become more popular? Is that what's happening here?
No, my point is that like I feel like he's already more popular when he's in the pictures with me. It helps my post, and plus he doesn't care about likes. You know what I mean? It's like I don't like when, and the one thing I hate is when people write as if they're the dog, and they always, here's the other thing, they always spell human without a U and 2 O's, as if like that's what dogs universally think it's spelled a different way. It like I hate that. It like pisses me off because it sounds so dumb and people think it's like so funny. And I apologize to someone else if one of you two does that. I don't know.
No.
Okay.
But a dear friend of mine does, Alex. I will have to show you because she posts things where her dog talks and she spells it phonetically like baby talk. And I tell her all the time, it drives me crazy.
But also like the fact that like the dog could like a baby, like, I mean, like, the fact that they could type it out and like know, like that they understand how the sounds go, like it's just like someone taught them the wrong way, really, because like how else would they be able to talk unless someone taught them to talk?
Yeah, you have a good point there.
All right, I realized too that we promised that we were going to get to a question, so unfortunately we're out of time, Alex.
All right,
people
well, it was great talking to you guys. Thank
people
you so
should
much.
go to wrongplanet.net.
Yep.
And then should they also go to your Instagram?
My Twitter, at Alex Plank. My Instagram, at Alex Plank. I'm also on TikTok, but if you can find me, I have like way more followers than on the other ones on TikTok. Okay. I don't know why. I'm very popular on TikTok. I haven't posted it also in like a few months though on TikTok. So
all right, we'll go.
One of my posts got like over 500, like 500,000 views.
Wow.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Well, Alex, we adore you. We thank you so much for being here with us, and we'll see you soon.
Loved having
you. All right, bye.
Bye-bye. Thanks for watching Autism Live. If you found anything helpful in this video, please give us a like. In fact, make sure that you smash that subscribe button on YouTube and give us a like on Facebook. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram for important updates. And please download our free podcast wherever you get your podcasts. See you next time. Until then, give your kiddos a hug from me and one for you too. Bye-bye for now.
To subscribe, click here. And if you'd like to check out some more of our videos, click here.